Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Ashley J's. I am Ashley J. And today we are discussing something that is very important that not many people do. And that is, it's an important topic, okay? As a matter of fact, it's an F word that not many people like to use. And I'm not talking about that F word. I'm not talking about the F bomb, okay? Why is it important? Because at some time in your life, you will have to do it. And you will probably do it countless times, okay? The F word I'm discussing is forgiveness. Yes, we have to have forgiveness in our lives. And I feel like it's really important to have forgiveness right now because there are so many things that are happening out in the world where we have to forgive. Forgiveness is vital for your health and for your mental well-being. So, you probably had to forgive and be forgiven more than usual now that a lot of us are staying at home. There have been times where I had to ask my husband to forgive me for snapping at him or, lacking on doing something, whatever the case may be. Because we're both at home. Things that I would probably do when he was out at work would not fly for him now that he's home. So I had to ask him to forgive me for that and try to work on changing that habit. But forgiveness is the act or decision of letting go of the hurt that another person has caused you. That is the very definition of forgiveness. And if I know you guys know that I'm a Christian, and forgiveness is something that is important for us because God has forgiven us for our sins and continues to forgive us for our sins, right? And the ultimate act of his forgiveness was dying on the cross for our sins. So forgiveness is at the very root of my beliefs and my religion. And in order for me to live the right way, I have to forgive. And I have to forgive those who done me wrong, and I have to ask for forgiveness. Okay. Being in each other's space constantly is sure to cause some friction. But when you guys have that friction, it's best to talk it out. And then when someone has truly offended another, even if you didn't truly offend them, but it's an offense according to them, you have to ask for forgiveness. And then they also need to come to you for forgiveness. Okay. Also, as we are forgiving one person, you have to keep in mind that eventually you're going to need forgiveness too. A lot of us tend to hold grudges. I know I'm a person like that. This is taking me years to work on not doing this and to get this out of my system. But I am someone who holds on to grudges. And it took me a long time to get over things. And like I said, I'm still a work in progress. But I have to keep everything in perspective. I have to remember that one day I'm going to do something to someone and I'm going to need forgiveness too. So I need to think about how that person who offended me feels if I don't forgive them. So I need to forgive in order to be forgiven. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense to you guys. Once I heard someone say that they don't do things that would warrant an apology. That is crazy. Okay, because you cannot you don't okay. You don't know what is going to offend someone. So how can you live your life like that? That is something that's just a cop out so that they don't have to apologize. Um, you people are different, and I've said before, because you're different, you're going to have arguments, you're going to bump heads, however you want to say it. So when that happens, a lot of times we hurt someone because of that. So you have to forgive and be forgiven for that. Okay? So you can't live your life not doing things that will warrant an apology. That's crazy. You can't do that. It's not possible, because everybody is not going to like the things that you do. And if you're someone like that, please think about changing that thought pattern, because it doesn't work. It makes you, it's going to make you be somebody that nobody really wants to be around, and maybe even look crazy, okay? Because you're going to offend people. That's just the bottom line. All right. If you're in any form of relationship, forgiveness is key to keep the relationship healthy and moving in the right direction. Like I said, you have to forgive, and to keep the relationship going and moving in the right direction, forgiveness needs to be in a constant play. All right. There's things that really, gonna really have to be forgiven. And it could be simple things like you snapped at your partner because you didn't get enough sleep last night. Well, once they tell you, look, you kind of you offended me by doing this, and it's not right, you hurt my feelings, you need to apologize to them, and they have to forgive you for that. And forgiveness does not mean that or apologizing doesn't mean that you make an excuse, because there should be no excuses for why you do things. You need to just if you do it, apologize for it. Now, if you want to explain why it was done, that's one thing, but don't use that explanation as your part of your apology, because that is it's a little bit, that's manipulation. Okay. And you're manipulating them into thinking one thing or get away from the one thing that they're thinking about you, because you offended them. So you need to not manipulate, just be grown about it. Apologize for snapping, apologize for whatever it is that you did, and you guys be done with it. Once you apologize, there's no bringing it up again. Okay. Because the constant bringing it up is not going to, you're not going to move forward in your relationship. Okay, we probably discussed a few times about what to do when someone offends you, and forgiveness is mentioned, but we never go into depth with it. All right. There are benefits to forgiveness that people don't realize. Like I said to you before, your health, it helps with your mental health and your physical health. So they are having people who practice forgiveness have healthier relationships. Their mental health becomes improved. Anxiety and stress go way down. They are less likely to become depressed. Your immune system becomes stronger, and your self-esteem and heart health improve. Yes, all of that stuff happens when you live a life of forgiveness. Okay? Because holding on to grudges and holding on to anger and everything else only makes your body deteriorate. Seriously, it does. It makes you sick. I feel like part of my problem when I first got sick was holding on to things that people have done to me, the wrongs that I felt that people have done to me, for not ever forgiving someone. So you have to let that stuff go, let it out, so that your health can improve. Okay? To accept forgiveness and forget and give forgiveness, you have to be in the place to do it. You have to be in the right mind to do it. So that means you have to stop and think about what it was that happened. You have to process everything, and you have to understand what happened and understand where that person was coming from when it happened. Okay? So you need to stop and think about it and decide on first of all, you need to always forgive, but you have to stop and think about it and decide on whether they were being malicious or they weren't being malicious. Okay? So you always have to think about what happened, think about the offense that happened. All right? Also, You want to go through a process of questions. Where did the conflict come in? Maybe there was a misunderstanding between the two of you about something that could have been avoided. That happens. Okay? Did you listen to the person you had the conflict with? Did you hear them clearly? Once you are able to gain a full understanding of what happened, now is the time to make the decision to forgive them or not. Now, I know that there are some things that are just unforgivable. If you're a victim of sexual assault, sometimes that is something that is unforgivable for you. I know it was for me, but it took me years before before I was able to forgive and move on. Okay. When understanding the problem, place yourself in the other person's shoes. Imagine what they are feeling. Try to understand their motives behind what happened. It could have been something innocent and they didn't mean to do it, but you took it as them meaning to being spiteful maybe. And you have to realize that, hey, taking a step back and thinking about it, thinking over the situation, maybe this was not on purpose. Maybe this was something that just blew up for no reason. Okay. I know there is no way to truly understand the answer to these questions, these thoughts, without asking them, but you are forced to look at the situation from all sides. You have to, so that you can understand. And then once you understand the situation, you talk about it with the person that it involves. Okay. You also think about your role in the situation. I know, but we always have enough. It's always two sides of a story. I know you've heard that before. So you got to think about the side where you played a part. Okay. So, were you antagonizing the person? Did you fuel the problem instead of working on coming up with a solution? There's so many things that we have to think about when it comes to working on forgiving someone. And these are some of them. Okay. Make sure you address and feel your feelings. Sit in your feelings for a little bit. Address the situation. Okay. Address your feelings. Acknowledge them. Acknowledge that they are there. In forgiveness, we have to let the other person know what we are feeling. So that means that you have to tell them, when you did this, that was crappy. And it made me feel terrible. It made me feel low. You have to tell them all of that. Express all of your feelings, because you're doing yourself a disservice if you're forgiving but not expressing how the situation affected you. That way, the other person knows not to do it again because it made you feel a certain type of way. I hope you guys are understanding me and it's making sense. Also, by expressing your feelings, you have to be open to hear what the other person is feeling. They may be saying, well, yeah, I understand that I did this to you and I'm sorry, but this is how you made me feel when you reacted in this way. Okay. When you are forgiving, take away the control. When you forgive someone, you're taking away the control that they have over you. If we hold on to the issue, we are allowing that person, every time we see them, we get mad all over again. They have control over you. That's control. And we need to take away that control so that we can be free and move on from this situation. Remember that it is healthier to forgive others. And Jesus tells us to forgive no matter how many times a person offends us. It says it right in the Bible. If somebody offends you one time and then they do it 20 more times, you still have to forgive them. There's no excuse not to forgive because he always forgives us no matter what. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Okay? I appreciate you. Make sure you continue to forgive. And start to forgive if you don't forgive now, and you will begin to feel a whole lot better. Thank you for being with me. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.